What if your morning coffee did more than wake you up? What if it built your health, your wealth, and your legacy? At Coffee Millionaire, we're turning every cup into an opportunity. Whether you want more energy, to feel sexy and strong, or to create a side hustle with purpose, this is where it starts. Join me and thousands of women just like you who are brewing confidence, community, and cash flow. Don't just sip coffee, get paid for it. Visit coffeemillionaire.biz and claim your cup today.
You're listening to the Good Morning Gwinnett Show, produced by Audrey Bell-Kearney. Catch a new episode Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Now on to the show.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're here to take those big, complex topics and, well, give you the essential understanding you need. Have you ever stopped to wonder how a community really tackles its biggest challenges? You know, the deep-rooted stuff. How do you actually move past just individual efforts to create real, lasting change? System-wide change. Well, today we're diving deep into the Gwinnett Coalition. They're this powerhouse nonprofit that's been doing exactly that for, over 3 decades now. Our mission: give you a shortcut, basically, to understanding what makes their collaborative model just so effective.
Yeah, and it's important to remember, this isn't just about one group's success story. What we're really looking at here is kind of a blueprint for collective impact, strategies that honestly could be applied in lots of places facing similar issues. We've pulled our insights for this from excerpts from Gwinnett Coalition, 3 decades of community leadership. It really shines a light on their journey and, the practical ways they do things.
Exactly. So by the end of our chat today, you'll have some really fascinating insights into how diverse groups can actually truly unite for a common cause. We'll dig into the core pillars of community well-being they focus on, and you'll see firsthand how systemic change isn't just some pie-in-the-sky idea. It's actually happening, being built. Okay, let's unpack this thing. So, starting right at the beginning. The Gwinnett Coalition, often called a cornerstone nonprofit in Gwinnett County. But in real terms, what's been their fundamental purpose over these 30-plus years? What are they really about?
Okay, so at its heart, the Gwinnett Coalition has this one driving purpose: uniting people and organizations. Simple as that sounds, it's huge. They bring together, everyone: local nonprofits, businesses, government leaders, even just regular residents. And their goal isn't just fixing surface problems, it's about creating system-level solutions. Think about it like this. Instead of just, say, setting up a temporary shelter, which is needed, sure. A system-level approach looks deeper. It tackles the why: affordable housing, job training, mental health access, transportation, all the things that might lead to homelessness. That's the kind of foundational work they do. And doing it for over 30 years. That builds trust. They're seen as a trusted leader, really driving collaboration, and, this is key, measurable impact. The source we look at really highlights 3 main areas: health equity, mental and behavioral health, and nonprofit capacity building.
That's a really broad scope. But trying to fix those big tangled issues, that must come with challenges, right? Collaboration sounds great on paper, but we know it can be incredibly messy in reality.
Yeah.
What's maybe one big hurdle they've had to figure out to actually move the needle beyond just getting people in a room? What's their unique approach here?
Oh, you're absolutely right. Collaboration is tough. It's much harder to do than to talk about. One of their secret sauce ingredients, you could say, is how they build trust. They use things like shared measurement and getting low-stakes wins. Okay, imagine you bring together a school district, a hospital, a local charity. They all have their own missions,
right?
Their own ways of measuring success. A huge hurdle is getting them to agree not just on the goal, but on how they'll track progress together. So the coalition helps with that. They often start with smaller, achievable goals, quick wins, basically.
Oh, okay. Low-stakes wins.
Exactly. That builds confidence. It shows everyone, hey, working together actually works. Then it's easier to tackle the bigger, more complex system changes later on. They're constantly bringing these different groups together, not just for coffee, but to align resources, share data, figure out unified strategies. And it's not just nonprofits talking to nonprofits. They actively partner with government, with business leaders. That amplifies the impact.
Right. Gets more buy-in, more resources.
Totally. It ensures the solutions have wider reach, maybe more sustainable funding, and the political backing they need. This whole approach has genuinely changed, as the source says, how local challenges are addressed and how success is measured in Gwinnett. It creates a united front instead of, scattered efforts.
And that collaborative model, it obviously got noticed. They recently got some formal recognition, didn't they? Tell us about Nonprofit Day. Why was August 17th a big deal for the coalition?
Yes, it was a great moment, a really nice public nod. The Gwinnett County Board of Commissioners officially recognized August 17th as Nonprofit Day. It was a day to honor the, frankly, tireless work of all nonprofits in the county, recognizing how vital they are. And for the Gwinnett Coalition specifically, it was a chance to highlight the, hundreds of lives they touch every year through their programs, which, like we said, are all built on those three core pillars. Maybe we should dig into those pillars a bit more, because that's where you really see the strategy playing out, how the collaboration becomes real change.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, first pillar, health equity. Their work here is all about systematically knocking down barriers to healthcare, making sure every resident, no matter their income, race, background, can get essential services. They push preventive care, connect families with doctors, and lead these big efforts to close health gaps. What's really interesting is how they tackle the systemic barriers. It's not just about offering a service one time.
It's fixing the system itself.
Exactly. Fixing the access points. For instance, I remember reading about one family, let's call them the Johnsons. They were really struggling to manage their child's asthma, just lost in this maze of clinics and appointments. Because of the coalition coordinating local clinics and transport options, they got assigned a community health worker. This person coordinated everything appointments, even helped them get help making their home healthier, reducing allergens.
Wow. That's tackling it from multiple angles.
Right. That's a systemic barrier getting properly addressed. Okay, second pillar, mental and behavioral health. This is huge, obviously, and often overlooked. The coalition is really committed to expanding access here. A big part is reducing that stigma, making it okay to talk about mental health.
Still such a barrier for so many.
Absolutely. So they focus on reducing stigma, raising awareness about what help is available, and creating clear paths to counseling and support. They understand that mental wellness is fundamental. It needs the same priority as physical health. And then the third pillar, nonprofit capacity building. This one's really interesting. The coalition isn't just providing services directly to people. They're also a capacity builder for other nonprofits.
So they're helping the helpers.
Precisely. Think of a small local charity. Maybe they're super passionate, great idea, but struggling with the admin side, fundraising, that kind of thing. The Gwinnett Coalition steps in. They offer training, resources, help them connect with others, things like workshops on grant writing, managing a board, finding volunteers. The real nuts and bolts.
That makes a lot of sense. Strengthening the whole network.
Exactly. It strengthens the entire nonprofit ecosystem in Gwinnett. It's a ripple effect. It helps ensure all these groups serving the community can be effective and sustainable long term.
Okay, so pulling back a bit, what does this all mean for you listening and for the community as a whole? Beyond the specific programs, what's the bigger picture here, the broader significance? And, while the vision is inspiring, does this kind of systemic change ever hit major roadblocks? What do they learn from those moments?
That's a really important point. Systemic change is almost never a smooth, straight line, is it? The source describes the coalition as more than a nonprofit. It is a movement, embodying compassion, equity, innovation. You see their impact across the board, schools, neighborhoods, healthcare. But yeah, roadblocks definitely happen. A common one might be shifts in, say, political priorities, or an economic downturn hits funding.
Right, things outside their direct control.
Exactly. What the coalition seems to have mastered is how to pivot, how to adapt. They always come back to that core idea of collaboration. They found that when one door closes, their network often helps open another, a new partner, maybe an innovative workaround.
Yeah.
That resilience, that adaptability, it's a huge part of why they've lasted and succeeded. Ultimately, they just keep showing that systemic change is possible when the community comes together. And in a place like Gwinnett, growing so fast, so diverse, that kind of unified leadership is just invaluable. Their ability to bring people together around shared goals, it really has become a model, not just for Gwinnett, but potentially for communities across Georgia and even further afield. It shows the power, the ripple effect of sticking with collaborative effort, even when it gets tough.
A model for communities across Georgia and beyond. That's powerful. To really make that concrete, can you share a few more specific examples, that human side of impact you mentioned?
Yeah, absolutely. The source shares some really moving stories that make it tangible. So picture a family. Maybe they used to struggle just to figure out healthcare, lost in the system, no clear path. Now, because of partnerships the coalition helped build, they get coordinated care for, say, a chronic condition. Their quality of life just improves dramatically.
A direct change.
A direct change. Or think about a student, maybe facing serious mental health struggles, feeling totally alone. Through better access to school counselors and community resources, things the coalition helped set up, that student finds support. find stability, the tools to actually thrive.
That's life-changing.
It really is. And it's not just about direct services to individuals. Think about that nonprofit leader we talked about. Maybe they felt totally swamped before, just trying to keep the lights on. Now, with training, mentorship, resources from the coalition's capacity building, they could actually grow their organization, reach more people, serve the community better.
So it empowers the whole chain.
Exactly. These aren't just one-off stories. They show how the work ripples out, touching individuals, families, whole communities, making the whole area stronger, healthier.
Looking back at 3 decades, that's a lot of success, a lot accomplished. But what about looking forward? What's their vision now? What challenges are still out there, and what are they aiming for next in such a dynamic place?
Yeah, they're definitely not resting on their laurels. They seem incredibly focused on continuing that mission-leading positive systemic change. They're very aware that issues like health inequities, access to mental health care, keeping nonprofits sustainable, those are ongoing fights, right?
They don't just disappear.
No, they evolve with the community.
Yeah.
So their future goals sound pretty ambitious, pretty strategic. They want to expand partnerships not just locally, but looking at national organizations too. Bring in more resources, more expertise. A big focus is using data better, not just collecting stats, but really analyzing them to understand needs and react smarter.
Like spotting trends early.
Exactly. Maybe mapping health outcomes against other data to see exactly which areas need the most targeted support. And, of course, they plan to keep innovating in that nonprofit capacity building piece, making sure the whole support system stays strong and flexible. Their leadership, their board, they seem really committed to keeping Gwinnett ahead of the curve on collaborative problem solving, always pushing for more impact.
That nonprofit day recognition, you said it felt like both a celebration and an invitation. So if someone listening is inspired by this model, how can they actually get involved? How can they become part of this?
Precisely. It really is an invitation for residents, for leaders, not just to watch, but to jump in and support the mission. The source lays out some really practical ways people can get involved. You could volunteer, offer your time, your skills to local nonprofits. Many of them benefit directly or indirectly from the coalition's work.
Makes sense.
You could support the Gwinnett Coalition financially, of course. Donations help fuel their work, let them expand. And just spreading the word, talking about why health equity matters, why mental health access is crucial, why nonprofit collaboration is so powerful. Awareness is huge.
Simple, but effective.
Absolutely. And for anyone ready to take a concrete step, the most direct way is to visit their website, GwinnettCoalition.org. You can learn more there, see what events or workshops are coming up, look for volunteer roles that fit you, or, yes, make a donation. It really does raise that question for everyone listening. How can you become part of a network like this? People committed to making your community stronger, healthier, more connected.
Wow. What an insightful deep dive. It really highlights the power of that sustained, unified effort in driving real community transformation. The Gwinnett Coalition is such a vivid example.
It really is. Their legacy, I think, is one of hope, action, and just smart collaboration. Nonprofit Day put a spotlight on them, which is great, but the real celebration is happening every single day as lives are changed. For over 30 years now, they've just proven it. When a community truly comes together with purpose, with a shared vision for fixing systems, extraordinary things can happen. They really are, you could say, the heart of Gwinnett's nonprofit community.
So here's something to think about as we wrap up. Consider the challenges in your own community. Could a similar approach bringing different people to the table, focusing relentlessly on system-level solutions, could that turn those challenges into opportunities? Opportunities for extraordinary, lasting change? What's maybe one small step you could take starting today to spark that kind of collaboration right where you are?
You've been listening to the Good Morning Gwinnett Show, produced by Audrey Bell-Kearney. Catch a new episode Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. If you missed any episode of the show, go to goodmorninggwinnett.com. Until next time, make it a great day.